History and Future of Space Exploration. Are you prepared to take off on an intergalactic journey? Join us on an exciting journey as we explore space exploration's fascinating past and exciting future. This film will leave you starry-eyed and excited, covering everything from the first moon landing to the cutting-edge technology that is pushing us towards Mars. Don't pass up this extraordinary opportunity. People have been gazing up into the sky and studying all the stars, planets, and galaxies above them ever since civilization first emerged. These extraterrestrial creatures helped humans navigate the planet, study their movements, and even include these heavenly beings in their religious and cultural practices. The fascination of humanity with these extraterrestrial objects gives rise to numerous technologies, like memory foam and ballistic missiles. Although space exploration in the contemporary era has enabled us to get a greater grasp of our universe than ever before, knowledge of space did not come to us easily. History of space exploration. Robert Goddard's launch of the first liquid fuel rocket on March 16, 1926, marked a significant turning point in space exploration. Following Goddard, the Germans improved these rockets into precise military weapons, one of which is known as the V-2 rocket, which included the first long-range ballistic missile in history and were used to strike numerous Allied targets, including industries. Following the war, the Soviet Union and the United States of America absorbed the German missile project. Both superpowers established their rocket programmers based on the earlier German research. American research made it possible for the first rocket to reach the edge of space and take the first images of Earth from a height of 105 kilometers in 1946, the highest at the time. Many people throughout the world were terrified by the thought that rockets may be employed for unavoidable monitoring and suddenly eliminate a whole nation. The first intercontinental ballistic missile launches by the USSR heightened this worry. ICBM. The two superpowers got into a fight over who could reach space first, each trying to outdo the other. Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite launched into orbit, served as the starting gun. Sputnik 2, which put the first animal into space, came after that. The Soviet Union gained the upper hand in the so-called space race as a result of both of these occurrences in 1957. The American space programmer panicked following the launch of Sputnik and established a new organization. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, was responsible for the first orbital images of Earth in 1959. The first person to enter space was a Soviet cosmonaut named Yuri Gagarin in 1961. The Soviet Union became prouder as a result, but Americans' faith in this new frontier was waning. John F. Kennedy declared in a speech to Congress in 1961 that the American space program would send a person to the moon and back by the end of the decade, since they were second to the Soviet Union in space development. The objective had been established, and both countries were moving quickly. The Apollo 11 mission, which included Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, launched after years of trials. That's one little step for a man, one huge leap for mankind, Neil Armstrong famously said after he became the first person to walk on the moon during that mission. The United States and the Soviet Union continued their space exploration efforts after the space race, which resulted in significant discoveries like the first space station in 1971, the first man-made satellite to be launched on a trajectory away from the Sun in 1972, and the first images of Venus in 1974. Moreover, the Apollo-Soyuz test project, which brought the two crew modules together in space to officially terminate the race, took place in 1975. Future of space exploration. The majority of scientists and engineers concur that this is a very exciting and busy moment to work in the space business. A number of novel events are taking place above the Earth's atmosphere. Today, commercial businesses will take paying tourists on brief space flights. They will build spacecraft for NASA missions, and a robotic chopper will soon be exploring Mars. The moon is a goal for both private businesses and NASA. In order to start establishing a base camp on the Moon, NASA's Artemis program plans to send people there in 2025. This extended human presence on the lunar surface will aid NASA in preparing for longer-duration human space exploration missions, such as a potential crewed voyage to Mars. The exploration of the Moon is also being supported by academic research institutions. A small spacecraft called Lunar Flashlight, which is being built by Georgia Tech students and faculty, will orbit the Moon and look for lunar ice. Georgia Tech Research Institute and the Daniel Guggenheim School of Aerospace Engineering's AE School collaborative project are planning to begin operations in 2022. If people are to spend prolonged periods of time on the Moon, there are additional difficulties to be solved in addition to exploiting the lunar resources. In the International Space Station, 240 miles above the Earth, NASA has maintained a safe and continuous human presence for more than 20 years. Yet, the Moon is 244,000 miles from Earth. Compared to the few hours it now takes to fly between the ISS and Earth, it would take astronauts at least 3 days to return home if an emergency occurred on the Moon and they had to abort a mission. The spaceship and life support systems will need to control themselves more effectively than they do now, according to former NASA astronaut Sandy Magnus, a professor of the profession at Georgia Tech. An army of people in mission control on Earth are currently keeping tabs on a variety of system operations. They will track themselves if you can design strong autonomous systems, though. Telescopic space exploration, as well as the actual physical exploration of space by robotic spacecraft and human spaceflight, are both a part of the future of space exploration. National and private organizations are planning and announcing short-term physical exploration missions aimed at learning more about the solar system. In order to create research outposts that will later make it possible for permanent and independent communities to be built, there are preliminary plans for crewed orbital and landing missions to the Moon and Mars, expeditions to other planets, communities on the Moon, as well as the establishment of mining and fueling outposts, especially in the asteroid belt, could all be part of future exploration. For the foreseeable future, physical exploration outside the solar system will remain robotic. We can't help but be eager for what lies ahead as we come to a close with CTA's tour of the past and future of space exploration. Technology development and the insatiable human curiosity are what keep us gazing up at the stars. We can only anticipate the amazing discoveries and advancement that lie ahead with the investments that private companies and governments throughout the world are making on spaceflight. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel if you